What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're starting a brand new series where we rank every Fortnite chapter, but we're not skipping ahead. We're starting right at the beginning with Chapter 1, the chapter that started it all. This video will only be about Chapter 1, digging into what made it so fun, where it struggled, and why it's still in everyone's minds years later. We'll be rating it out of 1 through 10 by the end, so stick around and let me know your own ratings in the comments. So, let's go back to the late 2017, when Fortnite Battle Royale first dropped. The game was free, the map was simple, and honestly, no one had any clue it would take over the world the way it did. You had no skill-based matchmaking, the gray and green graphics, and the only goal was to get a victory royale. The game felt raw. You didn't know how to build, editing wasn't even really a thing, and if you cranked one by one, you were basically a sweat. Back then, we had POIs like Tilted Towers, Resale Row, Greasy Grove, and Pleasant Park. Each spot had its own vibe, and even if you were bad, dropping Tilted was part of the fun. The audio was scuffed, and controller players had almost no settings, but it didn't matter because the game was about learning. One of the biggest things about Chapter 1 was its simplicity. There weren't mythics, NPCs, augments, 15 types of heals, or random crazy mobility every week. You had launch pads, rifts, and later the grappler. That was your mobility. Guns were straightforward. Pump, tech, AR, SMG, sniper. You weren't overwhelmed by loophole bloat, and it made the learning curve smoother for new players. You could also practice building without feeling like you were in mechanic tests 24/7. It was more about aim, positioning, and a bit of panic building, which gave the game its charm. This simplicity is why many players, even those who moved on, say Chapter 1 was the peak. Chapter 1 wasn't static. We got updates that changed the map, but it felt gradual and meaningful. Season 3 brought John Wick, Season 4 had the Meteor, Season 5 had the Desert Biome, Season 6 had the Cube, Season 7 brought Plains and a whole new biome, Season 8 dropped the Volcano and Pirates, Season 9 added Slipstreams and futuristic Neo-Tilted, and Season X was a pure chaos with mechs. It wasn't perfect, but you could feel the world evolving with each event. Live events with the rocket launch, the cube moving around, and the black hole felt like community moments. Everyone was on talking about it on Twitter and in school the next day. So let's list out what Chapter 1 did well. Map identity. Each POI felt important, and the map evolved without feeling overcrowded. Unique weapons. The double pump, it may not be intentional, but it made a lot of the gameplay fun and unique. The guided missile, an OG heavy sniper made for fun moments. The community feel, everyone was learning together. The skill gap was there, but it wasn't impossible. Live events, Epic nailed them, making Fortnite feel like an evolving world. It was simple, rewarding gameplay. Wins felt rare and valuable, making every victory royale exciting. No bots, every player was real, and you could see yourself getting better every week. Even the scuffed moments like getting one pumped or hit by a sniper from nowhere added to the hype because you knew you could get better. So what was bad about Chapter 1? Performance, FPS drops were constant, especially on console. No quality of life features, no confirmed edit on release, slow edit resets, and input delay made editing feel clunky. Unbalanced items, Infinity Blades, and Planes were extremely broken on release. Mechs in Season X, probably the most controversial addition in Fortnite history. Third-party city because there was no mobility sometimes. Everyone camped high ground or storm edge to third-party endlessly. Lack of customization, no locker presets, limited control settings, no creative maps for practicing edits or aim. It was raw, fun chaos, but looking back, you notice it wasn't as polished as Fortnite today. So despite the flaws, Chapter 1 created the foundation of Fortnite's success. It brought streamers like Ninja, Myth, and Tfue into the spotlight. And Fortnite was the cultural center of gaming. Dance, emotes like Floss and Orange Justice became mainstream. The game was so big that non-gamers were talking about it. It defined an era of gaming, and the build system alone made it stand out from every other BR at the time. For many, the nostalgia of late-night squads, clutch moments, and learning to build ramps for the first time is why Chapter 1 holds a special place. So where does that leave us? On a scale of 1 to 10, considering gameplay, community, map design, fun factor, and the flaws of the era, I'd give Fortnite Chapter 1 a solid 9 out of 10. Yes, it had some issues, but the raw fun, the excitement of new seasons, and the simplicity of the loophole made it something truly special. The only reason it's not 10 is because of how rough the performance and some items were, and the lack of quality life features that made gameplay smoother in later chapters. So that's my ranking of Fortnite Chapter 1, 9 out of 10. What would you rate Chapter 1 out of 10? Drop your ratings in the comments and tell me your favorite POI from Chapter 1. If you liked this breakdown, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notices. See you on the next one. Peace.